Hello, this is Sarah with Posh Pooch Designs, and today's video I'm going to show you how to make these little snowflakes. They measure about 6 by 6 inches, and this is a free pattern on my blog. It's just called the Star Tree Topper. And the reason I made this was because I bought an inexpensive tree topper at, I think, Hobby Lobby, and I didn't care for how it looked, and I wanted it to look yarny, so I made a star to go on top of it, and then I just hot glued the back and stuck it right to the front of that star, and it turned out really nice. And on the pattern, you can either make all of your points the exact same size, or you can do like this one and make 4 of your points a little longer, and then the 4 points here a little shorter. So it's totally up to you which way you would like to make this pattern. Now, I used worsted weight number 4 yarns. This is the Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn in Sparkle, and I think this is the Caron Simply Soft Sparkle. I can't remember if it has a special name or not, but this is in a silver color. And the sparkles are all different colors, which is really pretty. And this one has silver sparkles going through it. Works really great. We're going to be using our H hook today for our demonstration. And you're going to need a needle with a nice big eye for weaving in your ends. And then, of course, a pair of scissors for cutting your yarn. Now, you can make this in all different colors, or you can make it in a solid. Now, the one I have on my tree, which is in one of the pictures at the beginning of the video, I made it in red, green, and white sparkle. That one is made with Red Heart Shimmer. And I did that because I wanted it to match the colors that I was using on my tree. So you can change colors, or you can make it all one color like these two. For today's demonstration, I'm going to be using gold. This is just a Red Heart Super Saver worsted weight number 4 I have on hand. And so I thought I would use this yellow to make a goldish looking star, since I don't have a gold sparkle. It only takes just a few ounces, maybe about 2 ounces, maybe 3, depending on how you stitch, to make this, it doesn't even take 3 ounces, probably 2 ounces to make this star. And so you probably need a glue gun if you're, or a tacky type glue if you're going to put it on a topper. And then you can just purchase an inexpensive star topper. But you don't have to do it that way either. There are some blogs out there that will explain to you how to stiffen your star using sugar water or starch, and also how to block it. And I did do a video the other day. It's just a little 5-minute video, and I'll hook it to this video so you'll have that, on how to block your star so that your points become nice and even and straight. And yes, you can block acrylic yarn. So to get started, the first thing that we need to do is to make our slip knot. Then we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to be working in the 3rd chain from the hook. The first 2 double crochets counts as our first half double crochet. We're going to stitch 7 more half double crochets in the 3rd chain from the hook. Now, if you don't know what a half double crochet is, you yarn over, go in the stitch or chain you're working, and pull up a loop. You'll have those 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and go through all 3 of those loops. Now, the nice thing about a half double crochet is it makes a nice condensed stitch that's a little bit taller than your single crochet, but not as tall as your double crochet. So we're going to place a total of 8 half double crochets, because our first chain 2 counted as 1, and then we're stitching 7 more for a total of 8. All right, let me see how many I've got. Here's my chain 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, here's 7, and 8. Now, yarn out a little bit. We're going to join to the top of that chain 2 with a slip stitch. And now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's our row 1. Now, you may notice that you have a hole in the center of your star. Don't worry. We're going to come back when we finish our star, and I'll show you how to close that hole. For round 2 of our star, we've chained 3, and that counts as our first double crochet. We're going to chain 1 again, and then we're going to place a double crochet, not a half, but a double crochet in the same stitch as that chain 3 and chain 1. And this is going to count as a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. And then we're going to put double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in each of our stitches around with a chain 2 in between. So we're going to double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then chain 2. And we'll do this in each of the 8 stitches around. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 2. And like I said, we're going to do this in each stitch around, so you'll have a total of 8 double crochet V stitches with chain 2 in between. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then chain 2 in each of the stitches around for a total of 8 groups with chain 2 in between. So we've completed our second row, and we're going to join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch, and we're going to slip stitch in the center of this first V stitch where we began with our chain 3, chain 1, double crochet. So we're just going to do a slip stitch in there, and that just gets us where we need to be. And then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to place another chain 1 because our first chain 3 counts as a double crochet, and then we need a chain 1. We're going to double crochet in this same space. And then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to set this down for a second just to give you an idea of what we're doing. Here's our center. Then we did our V stitches here. And now we're doing this row right here. We're placing a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in each of the V stitches with a chain 3 in between. And this is the way the row is going to look. Let me set that aside. It's very important that you pay attention on this row because you want to make sure you stitch in your V stitches, not the spaces in between. You can see on this one, because our V stitches go straight up, make sure you stitch your double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in that V stitch. All right, all the way around. So we chained 3, so we're going to go to the next V stitch. We're going to chain a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet, and that's the V stitch that we're using. And then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to do the same thing in the next V stitch. Double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. And you can see that we're making sure that we're stitching in the V-stitches all the way around. And you'll have 8 groups of the V-stitch with a chain 3 in between all the way around on row 3. So chain 3. In the next V-stitch, we're going to place a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. And like I said, we're going to do this all the way around, placing 1 V-stitch, chain 3 in each of the V-stitches all the way around. So we stitched a V-stitch and a chain 3 all the way around. And now we're going to join to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch. Whoops, this yarn's just a little bit splitty, so I'm having a little issue there. And we're going to slip stitch right in that first V-stitch, and we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And you should have 8 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of V-stitches with chain 3 in between. This next row is where we're going to begin looking like a star, because we're going to be doing our V-stitch like we did before, and then we're going to do a single crochet and a V-stitch, and this is going to make the star begin to come in a little bit. So we're going to make our V-stitch, so we're going to chain 1 because our first 3 chains counted as our first double crochet, and then we're going to double crochet. There's our first V-stitch. Then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to place a single crochet in that center chain because we chained 3, so we're going to place a single crochet in that second chain. And then we're going to chain 2, and that brought it down just a little, and then we'll go to our next V-stitch and we'll double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet, and we'll do this all the way around for this row. Get some yarn out here. So we're going to chain 2, single crochet in the second chain. There we go. Then chain 2, then another double crochet V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. At this point, it's going to begin looking like a flower because it's not very pointy just yet. We're just beginning to put the dents in to form the star. So chain 2, single crochet in that second chain, chain 2, then double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in our V-stitch. And chain 2. And we'll do this all the way around like we did on this one. We did a V-stitch, chain 2, single crochet all the way around, V-stitch, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, V-stitch. And we'll continue this all the way around till we come back over here for our star. And you're going to see that it's going to begin looking like a star. So at the end of this row, we're going to join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch, and then we're going to go right in that V-stitch with a slip stitch and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. There's our completed 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and it looks like a pretty little flower. It'd make a nice little coaster, wouldn't it? All right, so let's go on and do row 5, and this is done almost exactly the same as row 4, only in between our single crochets we're going to chain 3 instead of chaining 2. So we're going to chain 1 and do a double crochet in our first V-stitch. Then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to place a single in the single and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. A little more yarn here. Then we're going to place a V-stitch in our V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. It's exactly the same, only we're doing chain 3 on each side of our single crochet. So chain 3, single crochet in the single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we do our double crochet V-stitch in our V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet. And we'll continue to do this all the way around. V-stitch, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3. V-stitch, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, and then we're back to our V-stitch, and we'll do this all the way around, and we'll join again. So I have completed row 5, putting my V-stitches in my V-stitches with a chain 3, single crochet, chain 3 in between. And it still looks really pretty like a flower. This is our last row, row 6, and I'm going to show you how to make it look like a star. And we do that by adding the little picot stitches at the top of each point. So I've already joined with my slip stitch, and then I slip stitched in the first V-stitch and chained 3. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to put a slip stitch in the third chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3. So we're just going to go in that slip stitch, in that chain, and make a slip stitch. And now we're going to place a double crochet in the top of that V-stitch. And then we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just going to show you how that looks. Our first chain 3 counted as our first double crochet. Then we did the picot stitch by chaining 4, slip stitching in the third, and then double crocheting again. And this gives us the 2 double crochets with the picot or picot, however you want to say that, at the top. Then we did our chain 4, because we'll be chaining 4 instead of chaining 3. We're going to go ahead and place our single crochet in our single crochet and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this can kind of give you an idea of what it's starting to do. Let me pull out some more yarn here. And so the way it works, all the way around, you're going to place a double crochet in our V-stitch. You're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to slip stitch in the third chain. And I usually hold that little bump just to keep my yarn steady. And then you place a double crochet in the V-stitch and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that gives you the little bump. And also you can see that we're starting to get the shape of the star now. So I chained 4. I'm going to single crochet in my single crochet and then chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'll repeat what I did on this one and on each one of the V-stitches all the way around. So we're going to double crochet, chain 4, then we're going to slip stitch in the third. 1, 2, 3, and then chain 4, not chain 4, then double crochet I got chain 4 on the brain, in our V-stitch, and now chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet in the single crochet, and chain 4. And there's our next bump. Alright, I'm going to do one more so I can show you. Double crochet in our V-stitch, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to slip stitch in the third chain, then double crochet in that V-stitch, get in there, and chain 4. And there's our next bump. Single crochet in the single crochet, and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see that our star is beginning to form. We've got our points with a picot or picot, however you want to say that, at the end of each point. We'll do this all the way around. Chain 4, single crochet, chain 4, double crochet, picot, double crochet, and then repeat all the way around till we get back around to our beginning chain 3. Let me show you one more time just to make sure you understand what we're doing. Double crochet, chain 4, then slip stitch in the third chain, 1, 2, 3, then double crochet and chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet in the single crochet, and chain 4. And there we formed another point on our star. So I've completed row 6, getting a point on each one of my star points, my last chain 4, and I'm going to join to the top of the chain 3, and then I'm going to cut my yarn. I'll use my needle to weave that in. Now, if it is a little bit wonky, like not nice and crisp, I did do a video on how to block your star, and I'll hook that to this pattern so that you'll have that. But we want to deal with this little hole in the center and also weave in our end. So we're going to turn our star over, and we're going to do this hole in the center first. And the way we close that up is we thread that piece of yarn that we started with, and basically we're going to go around those stitches that we made on our first row and just gently gather that in. See how that's closing when I pull that yarn? Go around the rest of that row. There we go. And just gently close that. Closes up. And then once it's closed, I turn and I go the opposite direction and just stitch a few stitches and cut that off. And it's really the same thing with weaving in this end. Use your needle, go to the back, and just go through a few stitches. And I'm kind of holding it with my hand because it's very delicate. We want to make sure we can get our shape good. And then I'll usually just loop back and make a few more stitches until my yarn is just about run out. And then I'll cut that and give it a good stretch. And that's the star. that I call the tree topper star because it's a nice size to put on a pre-made tree topper or to stiffen and put it on the tree for yourself. It's a really simple little pattern, and I want to tell you about the variation that I did with this one and the way that I got, if you want to have the 4 that are longer and the 4 that are shorter, when you're doing your stitches here, instead of doing a double crochet, picot, double crochet, I did a triple crochet, picot, triple. So you just do triple, double, triple, double, triple, double, where the 4 of them are stitched with 2 triples and the other 4 are stitched with 2 doubles. That's the only difference that I did. Everything else was the same, just to see if I could get a little bit different of a look. And I like it. It's very pretty. So that's our tree topper, our star tree topper.